Welcome to the PrepNet, presented every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Talk2Me's Channel 14. Come join us to discuss everything about prepping and hear what others have done. All about electricity, Part 10, Lithium Iron Phosphate Batteries, Part 4. Well, I did it again. In creating this week's net, I found that discussing how to monitor your battery has enough content for one net. So we'll continue discussing the use of single lithium iron phosphate cells for your battery bank and cover how can I see the battery's total voltage and each cell's voltage. Last week, we built a 12-volt battery from single LFP cells. We encourage everyone to watch all of our videos numbered 07 to get caught up on the All About Electricity series. So, how can I see the battery's total voltage and each cell's voltage? You could manually measure the voltage of each cell and the battery's total voltage with a multimeter. This might not be a big deal if all you have is a single 12-volt battery like the one we just built. Using the multimeter, measure between the positive and negative posts of each cell to get that cell's voltage. Unless you have a very good memory, you will need to write down the cell voltages you measure so you can compare the cells to each other. To get the battery's total voltage, measure between the unused negative terminal of the first cell and the unused positive terminal of the fourth cell to read a 12-volt battery's total voltage. But if you have a more complicated battery system, such as many batteries connected in parallel, this will make monitoring the health of your battery system much more complicated and time-consuming. However, there are other ways to monitor your voltages. There are standalone meters that can automatically provide you with the voltages of each cell and the total voltage of your battery. You will need to install a special cable on each battery to use these standalone meters. For a 4-cell, 12-volt battery, the cable will have 5 wires. 4 of the wires will be installed on each of the positive terminals and the 5th wire to the last cell's negative terminal to be able to read each cell's voltage and the total battery bank voltage. Follow the directions on how your meter should be wired. Warning: miswiring this cable will, at the least, result in false readings, and in the case of a battery management system, can damage the BMS. So verify your wiring before plugging the cable into the meter or BMS. Here is a block diagram of that cable installed on a 4-cell 12-volt battery. This is what that cable end looks like. To verify your wiring, use your multimeter to measure the voltages at the cable end. The 12-volt battery we built had the following voltages. Your first voltage should be about 3.3 volts. The second voltage should be about 6.6 volts, then around 9.9 volts, and finally about 13.22 volts. A 9-wire cable will be used on an 8-cell battery. Now connect the meter to the cable to view the voltages of that battery. This meter will flash the total voltage and then the voltage of each cell. However, this can take 15 to 20 seconds for an 8-cell battery for each meter to cycle through each cell's voltages and then the battery's total voltage. In my case, I have 9 24-volt batteries in my bank, so viewing all of them will take many minutes with this type of meter. This doesn't encourage me to check them often, but it is faster and easier than using a multimeter. This meter will show the total battery voltage and the voltages of all of the cells on one screen, giving you more information at once. With this type of meter, I can check all of my 9 batteries in the time it takes to view just one of my batteries with the previous type of meter. Many of these meters will also show the difference between the lowest and highest cells, and most battery management systems will show that and much more information on the health of each battery. As you can see, this battery management system shows you a lot of information on the health of your battery. Since better battery management systems show the state of your battery, this might be all that you need. As a side note, Even though I have BMSs on all 9 of my 24-volt batteries, I still have individual meters on each of these batteries. I have the flashing type on all of the batteries, and I have a few of the more expensive meters that show everything at once, which I can easily connect to any battery in a matter of seconds to get a better view of its status. The reason for this is that you usually connect to the BMS using your phone via Bluetooth. You can only be connected to one battery at a time with a BMS. So, checking the status of my 9 batteries by having to connect and disconnect from each BMS takes too much time. Plus, it is hard to compare the status of batteries without having to write information down on each of them and then compare your written notes. With the standalone meters, I can quickly look at each meter to compare the health of the batteries. Additionally, I have installed the cables to my 5 12-volt portable batteries so I can plug in a meter to check their health. You will need to decide which type of battery monitoring will be best for you. I know this sounds like a lot to do, but once you get used to it and you understand what you're looking at, you will be able to determine the status of your battery or batteries very quickly. Under normal or light usage of your system, you only need to check the batteries once or twice a day, which will only take a few seconds for each battery. For heavier use, you might check them a few more times a day, but still, not very much time is needed. Keeping on top of the status of your batteries will give you peace of mind, add years of service to your battery system, and avoid battery system failures, especially during a time of need. Remember to watch the expanded presentation on our YouTube channel, which will have visuals for better understanding. Next week, we'll continue our All About Electricity series and discuss how do I balance the cells in my LFP battery. With my past track record, I'd better make this next one a one-topic net also. If you have any questions about what we have discussed here tonight, please send your question to prepnetch14@gmail.com and enter question in the subject line.